Welcome to Chillin' Ghost Stories, where the scariest tales come to life in the dead of night. Tonight, we venture into the eerie legends of Thailand, a land haunted by vengeful spirits, black magic, and chilling apparitions. Turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare to face your deepest fears. Let's begin. Chapter 18, Azura's Wrath.
Ploy clasped her hands in front of her chest, but behind her back, two additional arms had appeared, holding a sphere that emitted a soft golden light. Her original arms gripped weapons, a bow and arrow glowing bright red. Ploy's entire body gradually transformed from pale white to blood red, confirming what Haidar had said earlier. The two remaining generals exchanged glances and nodded, grabbing a red rope with bells attached from the ground and throwing it forcefully into the air. It moved swiftly like a red snake, wrapping around Ploy. The two coordinated, running in all directions to bind their enemy tightly. Ploy remained calm, watching the two below as if they were performing a comedy. She grabbed the rope, causing hundreds of bells to ring simultaneously, drilling their sound into their ears. The thread also glowed bright red, tightening around Ploy's body. Seeing partial success, one person ran toward Haidar's corpse, pulled out the knife embedded in his chest, and charged straight at Ploy's heart. But Ploy merely smiled lightly, her arms tearing the thread into pieces, one hand gripping the knife as if to break it. At that moment, Ploy screamed in pain, looking at Haidar's blood-soaked knife. Her hand burst into fierce flames. The knife, as if red-hot, continuously corroded her flesh, causing Ploy to tremble, fly high up, and throw the knife far away. Her face became extremely angry. Her teeth bared, and her eyes grew several times more ferocious. "You all deserve to die." The flame on her hand gradually extinguished, but its marks remained scattered. Ploy gritted her teeth, spread her arms, and charged straight down at the two still surprised generals. They quickly somersaulted to avoid the attack, but before they could react, their backs were struck with searing pain. A burning sensation penetrated through their iron armor and branded deep into their flesh. "Ay!" Both screamed in pain, turning their heads to look behind them. Ploy's face twisted into a vicious grin. Behind each of them, the sphere in her hands was burning them. It quickly spread throughout their bodies, turning them into glowing red ash. Ploy floated in the air, releasing bursts of savage laughter. "This world is mine. Ahahaha." The entire sky darkened, filled with hazy clouds, occasionally flashing with lightning. Anyone who saw this scene would have only one thought: this was hell. The two spheres in Ploy's hands flew up, intertwining and spinning continuously, emitting thin rays of light. But when these rays touched flesh, they instantly caused humans to burst into flames like magma. All soldiers present collapsed to the ground, writhing and screaming in agony. In moments, no one survived. All turned to ash powder flying toward the two spheres. "Ploy! Stop it, sister!" From afar, a white net swiftly approached, wrapping tightly around Achala's body. Nina stood among the ruins, directing her shocked eyes toward the figure before her. She bore a resemblance to Nina's sister, with an almost identical face. However, her body emanated overwhelming savagery and evil. "Sister! What have you become?" Ploy laughed with satisfaction. "Is that you, Nina? We meet again." Nina felt chills emanating from her sister's body and couldn't help but shudder. This power was too terrifying. Seeing Nina's expression, Ploy laughed loudly, casually breaking the white silk net, descending before her sister and saying, "How do you find this power? It's wonderful, isn't it?" Nina shook her head, stepping slightly backward. "It's the power of demons." "Ha ha ha. The power of demons, you say? Then what are you? A ghost in human form?" What Ploy said wasn't wrong. Nina, despite her current cultivation, was still just a borrowed body. "I have become human. Ha ha ha. Let me see, what can a human like you do against me?" As soon as she finished speaking, blood threads shot out from behind Ploy, extending to wrap tightly around Nina. It was too fast for her to react, and now she couldn't break free. Well, Nina, will you join me in returning to the source of power? Don't dream of it. A voice shouted from behind Ploy, followed by a rope emitting pale blue light wrapping around her neck and pulling hard. Ploy was caught by surprise, stepping back several paces. Nina seized the opportunity and screamed, her body tearing apart, her head separating and flying up along with her intestines and bright red heart. Nina charged forward, using all her strength to try to grip her sister's head. Even if it costs me my life, I want to pull you away from this demonic body. You think this can do anything to me? Ploy spoke while using both hands to grab Nina's head and pull it away. I don't want to harm you. As she spoke, she threw Nina forcefully to the ground, her back hands gripping the rope around her neck tightly. Ploy looked at her sister, being both Malai, she fully understood that the heart was the greatest weakness. Although leaving the body could increase power, it also meant facing a very high risk of death. Only now did Ploy turn her head, seeing a familiar face. You again. I didn't eat you before, and now you want to deliver yourself to my mouth. After speaking, Ploy tore the rope from her neck and charged forward. Limey panicked and retreated. The blade in his hand swung up quickly, but Ploy timely tilted her head to avoid it. She swung her hand, and many blood threads shot up to catch the enemy. But before they could touch Limey's body, Nina intercepted them, holding them tight. Seeing this, Limey took out an earthen jar from his side and threw it up. From inside, a person emitting blue light emerged, extending her hands to grab Ploy's neck. Cat Goddess. So you're still alive. I've come to take back what you stole from me. Humph. Just with you all. Ploy smiled lightly, reaching out to grab the cat goddess. But her smile quickly froze. Her entire body was locked rigid, unable to move. Don't forget, half of my soul is in your body. I can completely control it. Ploy grimaced, feeling the pain throbbing in her body. The cat goddess turned to Limey and said, "Quick." Stab straight into her heart. Limey nodded, cut his finger, and smeared blood on the blade, aiming straight at Ploy's chest to strike. Ploy smiled and said, "Cat Goddess. Do you want to die with me?" This statement immediately made Limey hesitate, his eyes turning to the cat goddess seeking an answer. Don't listen to her. Strike now. Ha ha ha. Killing me is killing the cat goddess. When one half of the soul dissipates, the other half will also turn to smoke. Go ahead and strike. Limey frowned, looking at the cat goddess questioningly. Why didn't you tell me this? The cat goddess lowered her head without answering. Ha ha ha. Enough. You all can go to hell and talk. Ploy laughed loudly, a surge of power from within her body exploding outward, throwing all three rolling on the ground. The cat goddess quickly retreated into the jar. She had put all her strength into that last attempt to lock Ploy, yet Limey had missed the final opportunity. Limey quickly hugged the jar to his chest, wiping away the blood flowing on his face and said, "Don't worry. Even if we go to hell, I'll bring you back up." Haha. Oh. So this is your feeling. Ha ha ha. Futile. Ploy threw her head back and laughed loudly. Nina flew up, drawing in a huge breath. All her hair and blood threads spread out as she charged forward once more to grip Ploy tightly. But this time, Nina had no chance. As soon as she flew forward, she was met by many of Ploy's blood threads, binding her tightly like a cocoon. Limey also rushed forward, swinging his blade to strike. Ploy raised her hand, easily catching it. But Limey quickly abandoned the blade, his left hand pulling something from his pocket to strike directly at Ploy's face. A flash of golden light erupted, sending Ploy flying back with a scream of pain. She trembled as she removed the object from her face and threw it to the ground. It was the golden lotus petal. Ploy collapsed to the ground, holding her face. Around her ears once again thundered the sounds of bells and sutra chanting. Never had it been as intense as this time. It felt like it was tearing Ploy's mind into thousands of pieces, continuously torturing her, wanting to drain away her power. No. Impossible. Impossible. Ploy threw her head back and screamed in waves. Her eyes turned red, matching her skin color. She directed her gaze at Limey, teeth grinding, trying to use her newly acquired power to suppress the bell sounds. Ploy flew up, raising the light sphere in her palm to strike directly at Limey, shouting, "Die!" Limey startled, quickly rolling toward his blade, barely managing to raise it to shield his chest when a huge boom sounded by his ear. Ploy's tremendous force made it impossible for Limey to defend any longer, his whole body feeling like it would shatter into pieces. Blood flowed from his mouth, eyes, and ears. No. The cat goddess's voice screamed out. She burst from the jar, using her remaining strength to wrap around the sphere, trying to protect Limey. But she too was continuously burned by the hellfire from the sphere. Limey's eyes widened, his mouth wanting to speak but unable to form words. The cat goddess's form before Limey's eyes gradually faded. Limey himself fell into endless darkness. Nina witnessed this scene while struggling helplessly. Although she hadn't known these two for long, they were friends. They had all come here because of Ploy. Yet this was their fate.